We're at Happy Valley on a Wednesday night for a 9-race programme. 9 races at the City Circuit on Wednesday night. The JRA Trophy, the Japan Racing Association Trophy, is our feature race. Comes up as race number 7 on the programme. Very warm welcome to Racing to Win. I'm Andrew Lejeune, joined in the studio by our form analyst Paul Lally and race caller Brett Davis as well. Brett, and it was a wet weekend, but hopefully we're for a dry couple of days now.
I believe the weatherman has suggested we will be, Andrew, which will be good for those that like to get down to the beer garden. Oktoberfest will continue for the 9-race card at the Valley, and there'll be some good racing. I think overall, actually, the card's really tough. We haven't been to the Valley, obviously, a lot this season so far. It's always tough there, but because we've had a little gap between our last meeting there and the one on Wednesday night, I think it'll get tough with a capital T. So if you can find results, you'll be well rewarded with plenty of value. Yeah,
well, the king of the Valley, Casper fans, has probably got a couple going off quite short, Paul. But outside of that, what are we going to look forward to jackpot-wise?
Just the one. We've got $1.4 million there in the jackpot for the 6-up win bonus. So there's a good starting pool there. As you say, some quite even races, I should say, going through. And there's a couple of odds on already in this field, so there's going to be a couple short.
I think if you get even money for Aurora Pegasus, that might be reasonable.
Yeah.
Flip of the coin. And Snapfit, obviously unbeaten, is another one, as you said, for Casper.
All right, we'll get to those a little bit later on. Before we get into the action, in actual fact, let's look back on the weekend card at Chartin with our racing review. It was a mixed programme at Chartin on the turf and the all-weather. The feature race, the trophy race, was the JCI Hong Kong Senate Cup. This was the race. Rickfield right down the outside at incredible odds. Well, the 1-2 actually was huge price. Warm the Voice ran second at 50 to 1 as well. Bit of an upset.
It was, to say the least. What was it, 170 odd to 1, the winner?
It was.
1,800 at the Valley, and I would have considered him. I guess maybe this was like an 1,800 metre race at the Valley with the conditions that were on offer. Warm the Voice ran a good race too. Dealmaker ran honest enough, considering he was the favourite going into the race with a few wins underneath his belt. But yeah, surprise to most. Obviously, the conditions of the race certainly seem to suit those getting out into the middle part of the track, Paul.
I think the key there of this fight, as you can see it there, there's no mud on the horse at all, on the jockey silks. Now, we saw Good Runner's Way. He came in, Joe looked like he didn't even have a race because he didn't get any mud splatter on him. And I think this horse was similar as well. He was out of trouble, out of the slop, and managed to come wide and win the race.
Yep, and Matthew Poon getting close to his first 100 winners here in Hong Kong, not far away, and it's gone in double quick time.
It certainly has, yeah, but Rickfield, it's a big price. You found it. You'd be very happy with yourself on the weekend. As far as the others winners were concerned and the rating changes on the day, well, Paul O'Sullivan had a fantastic afternoon with 3, and Richard Gibson chimed in with a couple as well.
Yeah, both had good days, didn't they? So well done to those gentlemen, respectively. And obviously, Chicken Dance was one of the most impressive winners, I think, on the day. That was quite a solid race, as we said in the preview.
I think it's quite a strong form race, isn't it? And Band of Brothers, of course, he fought back strongly, didn't he? It was a good run from him.
Yeah, I think he'd be better up when he gets up to a mile as well.
Yeah, I read in the press as well, Zach said he almost idled a little bit, and once the horse came alongside of him, he found another kick.
All right, OK. Well, there you go. Those are the big winners on the weekend. We'll try and find you some more now with our horses to follow. Now, this horse, Paul, that you like, you actually liked him on the day, but didn't quite go to plan.
No, I made him the best. He missed the start in his trial, and he's come out and done it race day as well. You can see Bellagio there, the pink cap, he's last. He's going to have a stalls test because he missed it, and he was about, well, conservatively 6-7 lengths behind at one stage down the back straight. You can see he's still 2 lengths last here. He runs fifth. It was a really good run from this horse. He's just got to learn what get it all together at the start because he's very talented, and you can see him finishing off really nicely here. And you know, when they showed that print up for third, he was in the print for third, obviously a length behind. But
would he have won if he stepped?
Well, that's the question. We don't really know, do we? I think he would have gone close.
All right, we'll keep an eye on him.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think you actually noted this horse in the call itself, didn't you?
Well, I did. Yeah, I couldn't believe where he was at the end either after how slow he got out of the gates. Winston's Lad. Now, this has had 2 runs back, and they've both been very similar. He's been pretty much last when they've cornered in, but he's worked home really, really strongly. He didn't get a drop in grade after his first start. I'm presuming that he'll get the drop in grade shortly, and when he does, he looks ready to win. You can see, a bit like Bellagio, he came from well back and made up many lengths towards the end. We spoke about the strength of the Chicken Dance race Lakeshore Eagle and some very other nice horses, Lone Eagle as well, all those birds in a flock together there at the end. But Winston's lad, his last two have been exceptional.
All right, we'll keep an eye on him. Horse I found, massive price. He was nearly 300 to 1 here, Galaxy Racer. Just keep an eye on him here. Now, this is Colorado High wins the race. He just gets checked out of here. Bingo is the horse that rolls out and gives him some trouble. But the other horse on his outside is Splendid Timing. So right here, bang, that's where it goes wrong for him. His momentum looked to be similar to Splendid Timing's for mine. You look how keep an eye on Splendid Timing. He's a horse to follow as well. But I think he'd have been, somewhere around Splendid Timing if he hadn't had that check. And at 300 to 1, that wasn't a bad effort.
Yeah, yeah. There was a couple in that when I think Nepta Windsor went in third too. Came from a long way back. So,
so we'll keep an eye on him.
Nice race to follow.
Yeah, he's by Alamosa out of his Beal mare, so we might be looking for a little bit further as well. All right, those are the horses to follow out of the weekend as we look towards Happy Valley's meeting on Wednesday night with 9, of course, on the B course. We're worked back. This is meeting number 9 as well. We kick things off with a Class 5 over the 1,200 metres with a couple of horses dropping into Class 5 for the first time. Bandy and La Bomba are those two horses. Garrett of Garrow, Dave Ferraris and Joe Moreira team up from Barrier 1. Red Brick Fighter gets Barrier 12. He rolled forward on his last start. Starlet gets up from the 1,000 to the 1,200. A little bit unlucky last time out. Open House first up. Takes a drop in trip from the 1,650 to the 12. Keep going. Still a maiden after 15 starts. Legend Feet beaten favourite in his last 2 starts. Nasher Shook Barrier 4 for him. Imagine he'll roll forward. He did on his final start last season. My Dear, Red Brick Fighter, Starlet and Fire and Gold are the horses that have been up at Chung Fa within the last month.
Speed map for the first, well, not a huge amount of noted pace, so potentially La Bomba, who hasn't had a run since the 14th of November last year. He's had back surgery as well in December last year. But some of his recent trials suggest that maybe he can be up there in the firing line. One he got back in, one he was handy. We know he showed pace when he did have some races, so he might be the leader, but there isn't really a noted front-running type or front leader in the race.
I thought I'd show you La Bomba because he has had those issues, the back surgery and whatnot, and he's on the far side of Douglas Wide aboard. He's just doing some easy work here. He did show ability previously. The tongue tie will come off him. Red Brick Fighter, he's the one that stretches out quite nicely here. It was a nice piece of work from him, so I thought that he was worth highlighting as well. He hasn't done much in his 7 starts to date, but his work shows that he's a little bit better than how he's racing anyway. And a bit of rain around here for Open House as he comes down. He comes into this race in the back of a last start, second at the end of last season as well. And he seems to have summered well. He moves okay.
The other thing with that speed map, it didn't look to have a lot of pace, but you look at Red Brick Fighter and you look at also Leisured Feet. They're drawn 12 and 11 together. They may try and push across, and that might generate a little bit more speed.
All right, OK. Garrett of Garrow, he's going to be our favourite. It would look at this stage. Now, he's still trying to break through after 20-odd starts. Joe Moreira jumps back on board Wednesday night. Yeah,
this will be his 3rd run in Class 5. I think if he is going to win one, it'll be in this grade. He's often travels really, really strongly and looks like he's the winner a long way out. And then he does let down, but it's not with a great deal of gusto. A couple were able to finish in front of him there. I think he's going to get another chance in the race. It just depends on how strong the opposition are on the night.
Yeah, I've got him in the fields, in the numbers as well, Garrett of Garrow, but, he doesn't win out of 10, does he?
You wouldn't want your last on him, put it that way.
Well, he's 1.8 at the moment, so we might be looking for value elsewhere. Leisured Feet and Starlet last time out, getting up in trip here. Starlet just ran out of room late.
He did. I thought it was a really good run from Starlet. And we've got Zach Purden jumping aboard. He's a Class 4 winner, Starlet. He's in Class 5. This is his 2nd run. As you can, this is his first run over 1,000. He's up in distance to 1,200. Looks ideal. Leisured Feet, I think he will go forward, Brett, because he doesn't look like a leader. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up taking it out.
Yeah, I think Starlet's worth another chance. I know Paul liked him there, and he ran well enough. 1,200 metres off the back of a strong tempo would suit him.
OK, La Bomba. We saw him in track work. Here he is at the trials as well. So this is his first racecourse appearance since November last year.
You want to go right back through his form. He was beaten 3 and a bit lengths behind Handsome Bobo in a race, which is reasonable when you look at a Class 5 here. Gone from Chris So to Douglas White. He's had a year off. He's had back surgery. We know Douglas White's been able to get a lot of his horses going well and going well early. I'm not against him off the back of this trial.
He's definitely an interesting runner. He's been off the track for a long time, and he's got Baron 9, which is a little bit tricky.
Your King's Trooper winning
won that trial, came out and won at Happy Valley a week or so ago, didn't he? But Garrett of Garrow, 1.8. Can I tempt you with that?
No, not at all. I've got him in the numbers, though. I've got him in there for second. I think Starlight, the Class 4 winner, I've got him on top to beat Goat Nagaro. Lizard Feet, I think he'll go to the front. Not often that John Size has a rating 19 horse, but he has here in Nashashuk, so I put him in there for fourth. He did trial well recently.
Well, I wanted to show that trial, but because we've got 9 races, we're sort of short for a little bit of time. We didn't get a chance to see it, but he has regained a little bit of composure, Nashashuk, in the mornings. So maybe, as you say, John Size doesn't keep them too often, and when they're down to this sort of rating, he might be worth sneaking in. I've got him in 2. I tipped Gout Nagaro last start. I'll stick with him, but there's no price to look at. Starlet, La Bomba, Nashashuk, 3, 6, 2, 12. I'll be waiting till we get closer to the race and looking for the best value out of those 4.
We've all got the same cue. I've gone 3 and 6 as well. 2 and 11. You went 12. So
maybe there's a nice little quartet warming up there.
We're working around the same sort of numbers there. All right, that's race number 1.